In the heart of the magic, a story of quiet power and lasting change. In the enchanting world of Dreamscape Park, where fantasy and wonder are woven into every corner, millions come searching for joy, memories, and magic. Beneath its glossy surface of whimsical rides and smiling characters, however, lingered the same societal shadows that exist beyond its gates. And for one family, what began as a simple vacation would soon become a thunderclap that shattered illusions, revealing truths few had expected to face. A family that defied expectation. Cameron Ellis was not a man easily defined. At 46, he represented the apex of Black brilliance and quiet resilience, though the world so often tried to confine him to its narrow definitions. A leading mind in technological innovation, Cameron had revolutionized human-centric design in Silicon Valley. His name was attached to multiple patents in AI and augmented reality, and his advanced degree from MIT hung unceremoniously in his minimalist home office, largely unseen. Yet, outside the corporate boardrooms and tech summits, Cameron Ellis was often just another Black man in America, judged by appearances, assumptions, and biases. He was keenly aware of this dual existence, navigating it with precision and intentionality. His wife, Adriana, was every bit his equal. A Harvard Law graduate and a civil rights attorney renowned for landmark cases on workplace discrimination and systemic inequality, she carried herself with a quiet, unwavering strength. Adriana had spent years fighting battles in courtrooms and communities. Together, they were a force. Their children, Lucas and Maya, were raised with a deep understanding of their heritage and privilege, taught to honor where they came from while reaching for where they could go. Lucas, at 12, already showed signs of his father's analytical brilliance, while 10-year-old Maya blended curiosity with compassion, often asking questions that adults rarely dared voice aloud. The Ellis family had traveled to Dreamscape Park not for spectacle, but for simplicity, a rare chance to be just a family. Dressed in casual attire, their approach was deliberate. They blended into the crowds, adopting a practiced anonymity that Cameron had long since mastered in the corporate corridors of power. They were tourists like everyone else, or so it seemed. But Dreamscape, for all its magic, was still the world. And in the world, appearance often wrote the first chapter of every interaction. The subtle weight of 1,000 cuts. The Florida sun cast long, bright shadows over the entrance gates. Lucas tugged at his father's sleeve, his excitement barely contained. "Dad, can we hit Cosmic Coaster first? I heard it's insane." Maya rolled her eyes with a grin. "You'll lose your voice screaming before lunchtime." Adriana laughed quietly. "We've got all day, kids. Let's not rush to lose our voices yet." Cameron watched his family with pride. To an outsider, they were just another happy family starting their day at the park. But beneath the surface, he stayed alert. His instincts, honed through years of navigating spaces where he was both seen and unseen, were sharp. As they approached security, Cameron noted the patterns. Other families breezed through the checkpoints with casual nods and brief inspections. When their turn came, things shifted. The security guard, Officer Brent Mallory, gave them a once-over that lasted just a second too long. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Bags on the table," Mallory said curtly. What followed was an inspection so thorough it bordered on invasive. Every pocket was searched, every zipper unzipped, every electronic device scanned twice. Lucas' backpack was emptied entirely. Maya's water bottle was swabbed for substances. Adriana's phone was scrutinized, and questions about their hotel accommodations followed. "Where are you staying?" Mallory asked, tone flat and impersonal. "Arbor Villas," Cameron replied smoothly. "Who made the reservation?" "My wife," Cameron answered without hesitation. "Is there an issue?" "No issue," Mallory said, though his actions contradicted his words. It took 45 minutes for the family to clear security, 3 times longer than any group before or after them. Lucas tugged on his dad's sleeve again, quieter this time. "Dad, is this normal?" Cameron bent slightly to his son's ear. "It's not about normal," he said quietly. "Sometimes we face tests that others don't. What matters is how we respond." Adriana squeezed his hand briefly. No words were exchanged, but none were needed. The park within the park. Inside the park, the disparities didn't end. When they arrived at the Grand Dream Parade, their assigned viewing area was behind a pillar, offering obstructed sight lines while other families, mostly white, were guided to spots along the rail with unobstructed views. At the Sky Lantern Cafe, they were seated at a table near the swinging kitchen doors, while other families were guided to seats with window views of the Dreamscape Castle. When Adriana asked about special access passes for Lucas, who sometimes needed quieter spaces due to sensory sensitivities, the guide handed her a pamphlet without eye contact, providing mechanical, rehearsed information. Cameron watched the same guide enthusiastically explain the very same passes in detail to a family moments later. It was a pattern. Microaggressions so finely woven into the park's tapestry that they might be missed by anyone not attuned to their frequency. But Cameron saw them all. He'd trained teams to recognize patterns in vast data sets, and the data was clear. Lucas noticed, too. "They keep treating us different," he said softly during lunch. Maya chimed in. "Yeah, it's like they think we don't belong." Cameron looked at them, calm and steady. "Some people expect excellence to look a certain way," he said. "And when we don't match their picture, they don't know what to do. But that's their problem, not ours." The illusion crumbles. By mid-afternoon, the accumulated weight was impossible to ignore. Adriana, ever the documentarian, had been making quiet notes in her phone throughout the day, cataloging each interaction. And then everything changed. As the family stood by the Fountain of Dreams, watching costumed characters dance, a ripple passed through the crowd. "Mr. Ellis," a voice called out. Cameron turned to see Richard Harlow, Senior Vice President of Dreamscape Innovation, striding toward him with urgency and barely restrained excitement. "We weren't expecting you until next month," Harlow exclaimed, shaking Cameron's hand vigorously. Within moments, the once indifferent staff snapped to attention. Officers who had frisked him, guides who had dismissed him, servers who had marginalized them. Suddenly, they stood silently, processing the shift. Cameron Ellis wasn't just another park guest. He was the chief innovation consultant behind Dreamscape's upcoming immersive AI attractions, the architect of the next generation of guest experiences. Without him, Dreamscape's future was incomplete. Richard Harlow turned to the stunned employees. "Mr. Ellis is a strategic partner in our innovation initiatives," he announced. "His vision is shaping the very experiences we're building here." The revelation sent an unmistakable ripple through the staff. Officer Mallory's badge seemed to grow heavier. Sarah, the ticket agent, avoided eye contact, her face pale. Cameron spoke with calm authority. "I think we have some important conversations to have," he said to Harlow, his eyes briefly meeting those of the staff who had wronged them. From reckoning to reform. In the days that followed, Dreamscape underwent a transformation. Cameron worked closely with the company's leadership, not out of vengeance, but with the aim of systemic evolution. "Diversity isn't an accessory," he told the board in his first formal presentation. "It's a structural imperative. If Dreamscape wants to be the park where everyone's dreams come true, it has to mean everyone." His recommendations were sweeping and uncompromising. Mandatory unconscious bias training for all employees, from frontline staff to executives. A comprehensive hiring initiative to diversify staff at all levels, ensuring representation from underrepresented communities. The Ellis Fellowship, providing scholarships for minority students in technology, creative arts, and design, mentorships included. An independent oversight committee with community leaders to ensure accountability and transparency in inclusion efforts. Within weeks, Dreamscape's leadership approved the proposals, not because of public relations concerns, but because they recognized they had been given a rare chance to change fundamentally. The legacy of the day. For Lucas and Maya, it became more than a family vacation. They had witnessed their parents navigate an unjust system with intelligence, dignity, and strategy. They saw how power wielded quietly could move mountains. For Adriana, it was proof that justice wasn't just fought in courtrooms, but in everyday interactions and systems. For Cameron, it was a reminder that excellence is often invisible until it chooses to reveal itself. And when it does, it rewrites the narrative entirely. As they left Dreamscape Park that evening, the sky lit with fireworks, Maya slipped her hand into Cameron's. "Dad?" she asked. "Yes, sweetheart. You didn't have to show them who you were, did you?" Cameron smiled. "No," he said softly. "But sometimes the world needs reminding." They walked on, past crowds now watching them with different eyes, some in respect, some in awe, and a few still wrestling with their assumptions. But the Ellis family wasn't walking for them. They were walking forward together. And Dreamscape, once just another theme park, had become the birthplace of real magic, the magic of transformation, dignity, and lasting change.